Please excuse this recording. I have to record this using my tablet, so it has my eyes looking way off somewhere while I'm looking at the screen. My eyes on the picture back at me are looking way off to the left somewhere. Sorry about that, but this is what I have right now. In Daniel chapter 4, King Nebuchadnezzar has a dream, or a vision rather, and Daniel interprets the vision for him, and he says what's going to happen to the king, and that he will says he will be drenched with the dew of heaven and share with the beasts of the field. In other words, eat grass and whatever the beasts of the field are eating, until 7 periods of time pass over him, which is like for 7 years. Well, the vision is fulfilled. This all happens in Daniel chapter 4. And Nebuchadnezzar was walking on the roof of his royal palace in Babylon, and he reflected and said, "Is this not Babylon the Great, which I myself have built as a royal residence by the might of my power and for the glory of my majesty?" And while the word was in the king's mouth, a voice came from heaven saying, "King Nebuchadnezzar, to you it is declared, sovereignty has been removed from you. You will be driven away from mankind, and your dwelling place will be with the beasts of the field. You will be given grass to eat like cattle, and 7 periods of time will pass over you until you recognize that the Most High is ruler over the realm of mankind and bestows it on whomever he wishes." I have the King Nebuchadnezzar testimony. When I was going to Alcoholics Anonymous, we had a saying, "Don't leave before the miracle." So in 2006, when my son went off to the Iraq War at 19 years old, I was angry at God and scared. I was scared and angry. So I went out to the City of Rocks, the little City of Rocks it's called, out by Gooding, Idaho, and I went on a hike, on a trail I used to hike. And I took with me like an orange or a bottle of orange juice or something in case my blood sugar dropped. And I hiked as far as I dare go down the trail. And every turn in the trail led me to go on further to the next turn in the trail. Finally, I got to a turn in the trail and I decided, well, there's always going to be another turn in the trail. I better just stop here. So I stopped. And as I was hiking, the whole time I was hiking, this mantra kept repeating in my head. And I was praying and angry at God and complaining. And the mantra kept repeating in my head, "Don't leave before the miracle. Don't leave before the miracle. Don't leave before the miracle." So when I finally stopped in the trail, I stopped and defiantly asked, "So where's the miracle?" And all of a sudden, a voice came in. It was internal, but it came in sideways. And it said, "The miracle is right here and you don't know shit." And instantly, everything I thought I knew about God, the world, everything I thought I knew about anything fell away just instantly. And all of a sudden, I felt like I was in danger of hell's fire because I didn't know how to save myself anymore. And I looked all around me at the creek below me and the beauty all around me and the world. And I realized in the sky and the rocks, and I realized I didn't know anything about any of it. I didn't know what I thought I knew anymore. It all fell away. And I was in that state for many years, at least 12 years. My husband and I, that's when I took off into the occult. I didn't have anything really to tether me to Jesus Christ and what I believed and knew about him anymore. So I started dabbling in the occult, and finally I abandoned my faith and went wholly into the occult for years. And I had demons in my life that had convinced me that I was special and I had special knowledge and that I knew things. And so my husband and I finally ended up going to a Universalist church because in all of this, I had decided that even when I was practicing the occult and trying to decide upon a deity, I thought of Hecate and different ones, but then I landed on Jesus because he was the only deity after my investigations. I searched and I researched. He was the only deity that died for mankind to save us because of love. He was the only one. And my whole pursuit had become a pursuit of trying to learn what love was. And so I had settled on Jesus even while practicing the occult. Well, my husband and I finally ended up being visited by some people from a Universalist church. And it was actually a Nazarene church, but they had Universalist philosophy, like no one went to hell. And so we started attending that church, and they let us park, since we were living homeless still in an RV. They let us park on their property for several years, probably, not all in a row, but collectively. We parked there twice and attended church there. And I started taking part in their communion and everything. And I really fell in love with Jesus, but it was the Jesus of no hell, because I had always had an issue with hell. And here I could finally believe there's no hell and practice the occult still. And I wasn't much of a practitioner as much anymore, but I had the same spirits around me and the same philosophy. And so some years I was involved with this kind of thought. And then we actually, ended up at a Universalist church, Nazarene again, in Durango, Colorado, and they let us park there for a while. I think we were there for like 6 months. And we attended church there. And finally, we ended up back in Kuna, Idaho for a while. And I was watching videos, and people were giving accounts of I used to watch NDE accounts, and they were giving accounts of hell, and I would swipe right by them. I didn't want to hear them. I wouldn't listen to anything that had to do with hell because I didn't believe in it. And finally, the thought came to me one time, oh, Lisa, you think you're so smart, and you pride yourself on being objective, that you won't watch a video of a hell account. So you're not really being objective. You're just watching what you want to watch and believing what you want to believe. But if you want to believe the truth, you need to give investigate. So I watched several hell accounts. Well, I knew the Bible very well. And these several hell accounts that I heard were biblical. They were scriptural. They weren't necessarily NDEs. I think they were more like visions where God allowed people to see hell. And I knew there is a psalm, I'm not sure, it might be Psalm 81, I have to look it up. And the author of the psalm, what he talks about sounds like a hell experience. So I don't think that this is something new. I think God warns us and allows each generation to be warned. So I listened to these accounts, and I realized that they were scriptural. Everything they said was in the Bible, and all of a sudden terror overcame me, and I realized that I was going to hell, and deservedly so. So that's when the blinders fell away from me, when I experienced the fear of the Lord. It was terror. And I never became comfortable with God after that. I love God, and He is my Father, but I respect Him as a Father, and I have the fear of the Lord still today. I think we need to hold on to the fear of the Lord and love the Lord God with everything that we are, and that these two things are compatible and reasonable and truth, because the Bible tells us so. It tells us to fear the Lord, and it also tells us to love the Lord. So I just wanted to share my Nebuchadnezzar testimony about when God let me see again, when I thought I knew something, and He removed it all from me, in my rebellion, and then brought me to a point again where He taught me to fear Him and let me to see once again and come to salvation in Jesus Christ, that I did not remain lost, but Jesus truly left the 99 to come find the one. So that makes me think of Nebuchadnezzar's story, where he had to be like a beast for 7 years. I was like a beast for 12 years. To God be the glory. I'm so thankful that He taught me to fear Him. God be with you. I'm praying for us all.